they just destroyed me.
Do you honestly feel destroyed?
No, because the one thing about this that keeps me going is that I know I'm right. You know.
It's infuriating. I can't understand it. I can't wrap my hands around it. Like I don't see how someone is like, I lost everything I loved, everything, my wife, my kids, my career, and I did it all because I know I'm right. And then it's like, no, you're actually completely objectively wrong on this one. Oh, yeah. Speaking of fucking transphobia, I'm sure you all know the creator of Father Ted, Graham Linehan, and his fucking crusade, what he has done. I mean, he is someone who basically pulled a J.K. Rowling, but wasn't anywhere close to as beloved as J.K. Rowling. But what is with all of these old British icons and stars, many of whom, not really J.K. Rowling, but John Cleese? Huge fan of John Cleese. I'm not a huge fan of Father Ted, but I liked his other sitcom. I completely forgot what it was. But anyways, he has turned this into like the latter half of his life. Like did not make any new shows, did not make any new films. It Crowd, thank you, It Crowd. Yeah, It Crowd. It Crowd. I thought It Crowd was hilarious. I really liked It Crowd, the British version, not the American spinoff. I don't understand why this one thing you couldn't just be bothered to spend a tiny little bit of time doing some research before you went so hard into it. Because if it was like, well, trust the science or believe what the mass consensus of the scientific community is saying, then immediately you would have been like, oh, whoa, okay, I'm way off on this. I'm not gonna destroy my life. I'm certainly not gonna destroy my public standing, my respect, lose my wife, lose my kid. Like his family left him because they're like, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you? Why are you trying to make people's lives horrible? And that's what he's doing. Like, make no mistake, no matter how you try and twist the story, that's what he's dedicated his life to, and with such a passion. With such a fury and a passion that I have to talk about this all the time and use my platform and my voice so everyone knows how much I hate certain people. I really, really hate certain people specifically, and I want you all to know that. That's what I'm going to do with the latter half of my life. Beloved person. Beloved. So many people are like, oh man, show me childhood memories or all that kind of shit.
You say you're going to, you've decided to fight this, but it must feel like a lonely place, and it must hurt, and it must mess you up.
Yeah. They took everything from me,
Like what? What do you mean?
They took my family. Yeah.
They? Who is the they? Is it the they, thems, the scary they? You did this to yourself. Like, oh my God. Again, just dedicated the latter half of his life and his career to being a bigot. All the time, loud and proud about it, making jokes about it, trying to do comedy, but it was now very, very transphobic and horrifying. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you like this? If it was something where you only did one thing or two things, and then all of a sudden it was like, you know what? Well, I guess that's the way I feel about this, but I'm not going to just turn and dedicate my life to this. I'm not going to flip the whole thing around.
Before this, all I was doing was, writing comedy and
no shit,
playing board games.
No shit,
and being silly.
Why didn't you keep doing that? Honestly, like, why'd you then dedicate your life to being a bigot and making people's lives horrible? Like, honestly, and the thing about this is that it shouldn't be forgotten. What he and people like him do is they directly contribute to, like, the toxic atmosphere, the fear that, like, trans kids feel, and they feel persecuted because assholes like this have huge megaphones and are fucking out on the streets screaming this shit, screaming the most horrifying, horrible stuff. And now Mr. I've been cancelled on the BBC is like, they took everything from me. They did everything. I've lost it all. How could they? How could they, the they, thems, those scary they, thems do this?
On the internet. And then I just said, no, hang on a sec. Stop calling these women TERFs. Stop sending them abuse. Let them speak. And for that, they just destroyed me.
Do you honestly feel destroyed?
No, because the one thing about this that keeps me going is that I know I'm right, you know?
What a fucking asshole. What a, it's infuriating. I can't understand it. I can't wrap my hands around it. Like, I don't see how someone is like, I lost everything. Everything I loved, everything, my wife, my kids, my career, and I did it all because I know I'm right. And then it's like, no, you're actually completely objectively wrong on this one. You really are. Again, do you believe in things like penicillin? Okay, cool. So I'm guessing that you believe in, again, the broad consensus of the scientific community on this one. I'm not talking about, like, and I know that the places they'll go is always like, oh, well, but what about, there's times when scientists have been wrong. Of course there is. No one is saying that on the other end. I'm just saying that the experts who study these kind of things, they've come to very dramatically different conclusions than you have. And yet, again, you're dedicating your life to this. I lost it all. How will I ever get by?
I know I'm right. I see things. When you open up a newspaper and you see the words used, as I have many a time, about sexual offenders who have suddenly decided they're women, and the word "her penis" comes up. Well, every time I see something like that, I just think, well, I'm right and everyone else is wrong.
And that's why you firebombed your life. Like, I threw it all away because that sentence just didn't process properly in my mind. I can't believe it, woman with the penis. Oh, well, he's willing to burn everything for that.
I mean, it's a very strange position for me to be in. It's the opposite position to the one I've been in for my own.
This is the hill. This is the hill. And the thing is, in 50 years, could you imagine, like think of how dated and horrifying, like, the Ku Klux Klan, even though I know they still exist, but just the thoughts and ideas of the Ku Klux Klan feel today, years later, where you look back and you're like, oh wow, those people were monsters, absolute racist monsters. I can't believe that. So 50 years from now, someone like Graham Linehan is going to have footage of him archived forever of him saying that he was willing to throw away his entire life, marginalize people, specifically because I know he thought he was right. He thought the sentence "woman with a penis" broke his mind. Like, he couldn't. I knew I found my calling. I knew it. It's the day I heard that sentence. Every single time I see it printed in newspapers, "woman with a penis." I will never accept that. You will never, ever. I can't understand this. I really can't.
For my whole life. But in this particular case, I gotta say, sex is important. Women are real. Women's language is important.
No one is not saying that. You poor fool. Again, you lost your life. You lost everything. Because you couldn't process that. Because you wouldn't do any research. You would just, like, you don't have to go far. You could just pull your phone out of your pocket and go on Wikipedia and learn some things about gender studies, gender science, any of that. You can do it right now. Yes, as you're sitting there, you can just pull out your phone and be like, oh, yeah, it appears I was wrong.
Women need words like women to describe themselves. These are all just basic things.
Oh, wow.
I've got nothing left. I've got nothing
left. I assume in this one, I've never seen that show before. I don't know the context.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we are prepared to conduct many a human sacrifices in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble yet incompetent jesters, trying in vain to bring some levity into your life. To our Lord Trevor R., we give you thanks for this meager plot of land for us to toil away our pathetic existence. To our brave knights, Carl Wauer, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Mayred, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruben Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Nate, Hagbird Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Jenna Tal, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevor Janis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojak, Saren 42, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Agent NDN, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We salute our mighty heroes off to conquest some bread in some far-off land.